Every legendary weapon of the East explained in 10 minutes, the Brahmastra. There exists a weapon so devastating that its use was considered the ultimate war crime, even by the gods, the Brahmastra. This wasn't a sword or a spear. It was a manifestation of pure cosmic destruction, powered by meditation and mantras. In the Mahabharata, when the warrior Ashwathama unleashed the Brahmastra in rage, it created a wall of fire that threatened to incinerate every living thing on Earth. The heat was so intense it could evaporate oceans and crack the planet's crust. Ancient texts describe the effects in terrifying detail. Soldiers melted where they stood, rivers boiled, and pregnant women miscarried from the sheer energy. It sounds suspiciously like a nuclear detonation. The weapon could only be summoned through years of intense spiritual focus, and once fired, it couldn't be stopped. The only defense was another Brahmastra to cancel it out, which would cause an explosion that could shatter the universe itself. The gods eventually forbade its use, passing the knowledge down only to the most trusted warriors with dire warnings. The Brahmastra represents ultimate power and ultimate responsibility. But if that weapon operated on cosmic energy, this next one relied on something far more tangible: raw, impossible weight. Ruyi Jingu Bong. The Ruyi Jingu Bong weighs 17,550 pounds. That is the weight of 3 Tesla Cybertrucks stacked on top of each other. Sun Wukong's legendary staff wasn't forged as a weapon. It was a pillar used by the Dragon King to calculate the depth of the ocean. When the Monkey King invaded the underwater palace, he found the ancient ruler covered in rust. But the moment Wukong touched it, golden characters appeared: Ruyi Jingu Bong, which means, "As you wish, golden hooped rod." The staff obeyed his thoughts. It could shrink to the size of a needle to hide behind his ear, or grow large enough to prop up the heavens. With this staff, Wukong fought the entire celestial army of 100,000 warriors, and won. He could multiply it into thousands of copies, creating a forest of iron. The weapon wasn't just heavy, it was intelligent. Kusanagi no Tsurugi. The Kusanagi no Tsurugi, the grass-cutting sword, was found inside the body of a god. When the storm deity Susanoo slew the 8-headed dragon Yamata no Orochi, he discovered a blade inside its tail that was unlike any other. The sword was so sharp it could cut through reality itself. Its most famous legend involves Prince Yamato, who was trapped in a field of burning grass. As the flames closed in, he used the Kusanagi to cut down the grass, then reversed the wind to turn the fire back on his attackers. The Kusanagi became one of the 3 imperial regalia of Japan, symbolizing the divine right to rule. For over 1,000 years, it was passed from emperor to emperor until it was lost at sea in 1185 during the Battle of Dan no Ura. Sudarshana Chakra. If Japan has its sacred blade, India has its perfect circle of death. The Sudarshana Chakra is mathematically perfect death. This spinning disc with 108 serrated edges belongs to the god Vishnu and operates on a simple principle: it never misses. Once thrown, the chakra chases its target across dimensions, through time, and around obstacles. It's supernaturally sharp, capable of cutting through any substance or armor, and returns to Vishnu's hand instantly after every kill. In the Mahabharata, Krishna used the Sudarshana Chakra to execute demons who were granted immunity from conventional weapons. It became the ultimate answer to immortality loopholes. The weapon represents divine justice: absolute, unavoidable, and perfectly executed. Green Dragon Crescent Blade. Sometimes the power of a weapon comes not from magic, but from the warrior who wields it. The Green Dragon Crescent Blade is 100 pounds of loyalty made steel. This wasn't a magical weapon, it was simply the perfect tool in the hands of a perfect warrior. Guan Yu's Guandao had a long, curved blade with a green dragon carved into the metal. Historical accounts describe Guan Yu decapitating the champion Yan Liang with a single strike while riding past at full gallop. The blade required immense strength just to lift, let alone wield in combat. After Guan Yu's death, he was deified as the god of war. The blade became a symbol: strength tempered by honor. Muramasa blades. Unlike the green dragon Crescent blade, which was wielded by a hero, some blades chose their own path. The Muramasa blades were possessed. Master swordsmith Muramasa created weapons of such quality that they became legendary. But there was a fatal flaw. Warriors who carried them reported an overwhelming urge to kill. The swords hungered for blood, including the blood of their owners. If a Muramasa blade was drawn, it had to taste blood before being sheathed. If there was no enemy, it would cut its wielder. The Tokugawa shogunate eventually banned these blades after several family members died by them. They became symbols of rebellion and bloodlust, proving a crucial lesson. A weapon's power can corrupt even the strongest will. Tamingsari. In Southeast Asian legend, one blade granted its wielder something even more valuable than strength. The Tamingsari makes its owner invincible. This kris, a wavy-bladed dagger from Malay mythology, granted its wielder absolute immunity to physical harm. Wounds would not bleed, strikes would miss, arrows would veer away. The warrior Hung Tuah carried this blade and became the greatest champion of the Malacca Sultanate, undefeated in dozens of duels. But the dagger had one weakness. It could be stolen. In his most famous battle, Hung Tuah faced his blood brother Hung Jabat, who had taken the Tamingsari. The duel lasted for days, with neither able to land a killing blow, until Hung Tuah managed to reclaim the dagger and end his brother's life. It proves that invincibility isn't permanent. It's borrowed. Pangu's axe. If some weapons protect, others create. Pangu's axe split existence in half. Before the world existed, there was only a cosmic egg containing the giant Pangu. When he woke after 18,000 years of sleep, he grabbed his axe and shattered the egg. The lighter elements rose to become the sky. The heavy elements fell to become the earth. And Pangu stood between them, holding them apart with the axe across his shoulders. For eons, Pangu grew taller, pushing heaven and earth apart. When he finally died, his body became the world. His eyes the sun and moon, his blood the rivers. The axe vanished, perhaps shattering into pieces that became other divine weapons. It reminds us that destruction is often the first step of creation. Ame no Nuhoko. Japan's creation required a different tool. The Ame no Nuhoko, the heavenly jeweled spear, was given to the gods Izanagi and Izanami to bring order to the primordial ocean. Standing on the floating bridge of heaven, they churned the waters below. When they lifted the spear, brine dripped from its tip. Each drop that fell solidified into land, creating the islands of Japan. The spear wasn't a weapon of war, it was a tool of divine architecture. After forming the islands, the gods planted it upright, becoming the axis connecting heaven and earth. Sign Gum, 4-tiger sword. Not all legendary weapons were meant to build, some were designed to guard the soul. The Sign Gum, the 4-tiger sword, was Korea's ultimate defense against supernatural evil. This ceremonial blade was engraved with the symbols of 4 guardian tigers, each representing a cardinal direction. Used by shamans and exorcists, the blade's sacred geometry formed a protective barrier that demons could not cross. Korean royal families kept these swords in palaces to prevent possession and illness. Warriors didn't carry these into battle. Priests did, into spiritual wars that had no physical battlefield. The 4-tiger sword reminds us that some weapons don't draw blood. They guard souls. The Trishula. If we're discussing weapons that define cosmic balance, we must end where creation and destruction meet. The Trishula is the weapon of Shiva, the destroyer and transformer. The 3 prongs of this trident represent creation, preservation, and destruction, past, present, and future. The Trishula can destroy anything, demons, gods, entire universes, but in Hindu philosophy, destruction isn't evil, it's necessary. Shiva destroys to make room for rebirth. When Shiva performs the cosmic dance of destruction, he wields the Trishula to unmake corrupted worlds so new ones can flourish. The weapon never dulls, never breaks, and exists beyond time. It represents a truth that runs through every mythology in the East. The greatest weapons don't just destroy or protect, they maintain balance. From god-slaying spears to world-ending arrows, these artifacts remind us that power is nothing without the will to wield it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Eastern mythology, please like and subscribe to join us for our next exploration of history's greatest legends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.